Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC.
A weekly podcast and YouTube channel where we discuss all things Wrexham AFC from the point of view of long-term fans and new fans.
So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in.
Hello and welcome back to episode 86 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC. Hello all.
Hello, busy show today. We've got a guest on, so we've got Spencer Harris coming on. Really excited about
Very
that.
exciting.
Going to talk about Welcome to Wrexham. We're going to talk about the Wrexham Supporters Trust and what he thinks our chances are of finishing in the top three this season. We're also going to have a little look back at the two games that we've had this week and also the two games that we've got coming up in the coming week as well. Coming thick and fast now, aren't they?
Yeah.
The whole Tuesday, Saturday, this.
I love a Tuesday, Saturday game.
Yeah, I know, but I think this is the point now when hopefully our squad depth comes to the fore. Maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully. We'll see. We've got also Luke Young made his 250th appearance this week, so well done to you, Luke. We're going to have a little bit more of an in-depth chat about that when we... Yeah.
Love Luke Young.
Yes. First thing, before we welcome Spencer on, we got a sponsor for the temporary stand, haven't we?
Who owns the Who owns the company
I
that's
know.
sponsoring the temporary stand?
I think it was always going to be one of the two of their companies, wasn't
Why not?
it? So it's Four Walls Whiskey going to be sponsoring the temporary stand. It's going to be called The Fourth Wall.
Yep, the sign's up and everything already.
It is ready for
Saturday.
So yeah, we're just bringing some money in, aren't we? Really?
Why not?
Why not?
I don't like whiskey, so I won't be trying it, but...
I might give it a go.
Yeah,
yeah. Why not? Why not?
Not for me.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see that sponsor up there. Hey, any money we can bring into the club, the better, really, isn't it?
Yep.
So I think guest time.
Without further ado,
Let's get straight in with our guest for this week. So as I said, we are welcoming Spencer Harris to the show. So Spencer, how are you?
Hey, hi Ryan, hi Shan. I'm very well. How are you both?
Oh, really well.
Good.
Really well.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
a Sunday.
Yes. So long-term fans will know who Spencer is. New fans who have sort of watched the documentary, they will know who Spencer is.
Yep.
Now, Spencer, we pick up new fans, it seems like on a daily basis at the moment. So for anybody who doesn't know who Spencer Harris is and what his connection is to Wrexham AFC, who are you?
Well, I'm a long-term Wrexham fan of 40 plus years, long-term season ticket holder. And I just happened to be involved in running the club for about 10 years on behalf of the community of Wrexham. So that's me.
That's you. That is you, yes.
That is an accolade and a half, I think.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Definitely.
And
10 years is,
It is, yeah, definitely. I don't think you sometimes get the credit you deserve, Spencer, for everything that you did for the club, because I think people do forget sometimes that, you've got a full-time job, haven't you? Which isn't associated with Wrexham.
No, I listen, it's anything that I ever did with Wrexham was a privilege. It was an honour, and it was on behalf of the community. So it was were they all brilliant times? Well, there was a few very difficult times, but there was many great times as well. And I think ultimately, people do appreciate what the trust did for the town, for the way in which it came in and sorted out and rescued the club and took it from a basket case really that had no right to exist when we took it over, to handing it over with money in the bank after 2 years of a pandemic to two philanthropic great owners who've taken us onto the worldwide stage. So job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think if it wasn't for you, the supporters' trust and all the effort that you guys put in, like you said, I don't even think we would be sitting here doing a Wrexham podcast, because it just wouldn't exist.
We might have been, but it might have been at a much lower level of football, I think, than where we are now.
Okay, if it did exist, I don't think we would be where we are now.
No, we certainly would not.
So so I think although yes, we've got fantastic owners now, I just think that, like you said, I don't think yourself and the community trust. It's called community
Wrexham
trust.
Supporters
So,
Trust.
yeah, sorry, Wrexham Supporters Trust. I don't think they've had the credit as much as they should have, to be honest.
No.
I think the thing to remember, though, about the Wrexham Supporters Trust is it wasn't a small group of people. It was actually all of us. It was whether you paid your £15 a year membership or you came to the games, that we were a collective, we were community owned, and everybody in the community had a stake in it. So, I'd encourage anybody to think about the Supporters Trust, not about a small group of people, but actually everybody contributed to the success that we had.
Well, I mean, when Rob and Ryan came along, when that happened, and when you got, I imagine you knew who it was quite early on in the process. When you first heard who it was it a case of going, well, that's not real, that's not real, that's not happening, or what were your initial thoughts when you sort of heard it was them?
So, well, just to give you a little bit of context, it was actually a few months between the initial contact and actually finding out who the prospective owners were. So I actually got a call from Mark Caitlin, who was then CEO of, or Geraint Parry did actually, from Mark Caitlin, who asked if he could pass on my number to him, and I spoke with him on the 25th of May. It wasn't until that was back in 2020. It seems like a lifetime ago now. And then it wasn't until the 20th of August that year where it was actually revealed who the clients of Inner Circle Sports, who were the sort of boutique investment bank in New York, were. So we went from sort of the end of May to the end of August, knowing it was people of high net worth, but not exactly who it was. So a bit of context for you there. And then, it was quite interesting actually when you find out who it is. I'm not saying I'm the biggest film buff in the world, so but yeah, quite incredible.
I think the first time I heard it, I was like, yeah, well, that's not true. Because you get so many rumours, don't you, around sport, and especially around football. And you're going, yeah, all right, yeah, okay, somebody's put that out there. That's not true.
Yeah.
On to the sort of documentary, you sort of featured quite heavily in the first series of that. I mean, that must have been such a great experience to be so heavily involved with a documentary about a club that you love so much.
Yeah, I think the reason why I agreed to do it was really because, like anything I ever did for the club, it was for the betterment of the club and to help them tell the story. So, I'd never had any real ambitions to want to be part of a documentary, but if somebody ever asked me to do something for Wrexham AFC, I would always put my hand up and say yes. So that's how I got involved in it. But the one thing that you don't realise about when somebody's filming a documentary is the amount of hours they actually film and how little of it they actually use. So, but yeah, which is a really interesting. But the other thing is you're never quite sure how you're going to be portrayed, or indeed what others are going to say about you during the show, either. So, but I was pretty comfortable that anything that I was going to say would be as factual as I could make it, and I try and stay away from saying anything too controversial.
I think that's the key, isn't it? Just to be as honest as possible, but not too controversial. I mean, you saying there about the hours of filming. Actually, Ryan and I are filming at the moment for Club Peldroid, is it?
Club Knee,
or for S4C, and they came to us late last year.
Yeah,
and they were here for like hours and hours, and we don't know how much of that footage,
if any, if any.
But I had the same sort of feeling as you. I thought, what if I come across as really stupid, or people start to dislike me. We start, it's just one of those things, isn't it? You just got to kind of do it and see what happens. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, I think.
Yeah,
so.
it is. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I'm with you on that one. Talking about when they took over, when Rob and Ryan took over, and you're obviously really happy that we've got some great owners coming in. Was it at all tinged with a little bit of sadness for you that you'd been so involved with the club for such a long period of time, and then the sort of realization that once we had new owners in, that you were going to have to step away from doing what you've been doing? Was that really happy that the club's moving forward, or were you a little bit sad that you weren't going to be as involved as you had been over the sort of 10-year period?
So a couple of things. I'm going to go. I love to go around the houses a little bit, but I'm going to before I answer that particular question, I'd like to give you a bit of context in the lead up to the transfer of ownership. It was a really difficult time for me personally. We were in back in 2020 was when Brexit happened, and I was actually leading the response to Brexit for the organisation for which I work. So everything from understanding how you sort of mitigate tariffs through to truck movements and border crossings and everything, business continuity, everything in between. So it was a really difficult work period for me, at the same time as trying to keep a trust board together, to work with our legal and financial representatives to discuss a deal and put a deal together, because the absolutely crucial thing was that this deal couldn't fall down because it on the half of the trust. It had to go to the owners, who were all of the members, to make the decision. So it was a really unbelievably busy and difficult period right the way up to when the transfer of ownership took place. So if you can imagine, I've got a full-time job, and then almost doing a second full-time job, and then all of a sudden you go from that and being on the inside of everything and to all of that stops. And it can feel it's a huge change event for something like that to happen in anybody's life. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. In the early days, I'd say it almost felt a little bit like a bereavement, where something was lost, something significant in your life. Suddenly it was always there, and then it was gone overnight. That was a really strange experience, but and it took me probably a year to sort of work through that, and now it's great that you're not having to think about cash flow. You're not having to count the number of people in the crowd and think what that means in terms of financial income. And around the May period of every year was the worst time of the year for me in the 10 years I was there, because we would sit down as a board, and Mark Williams would put forward all of the financial assumptions and how we were going to formulate the budget for the next season. And you'd say, how much do you think you're going to get in from commercial income and all of those things? Then you look at your fixed costs, and your difference between your revenue and your fixed costs is the playing budget. That's the only way we could do it. And every year it'd feel like somebody kicked you in the stomach, and you think, oh my God, we're not getting promoted on that. And then you'd have to go back to the assumptions on your income and think about how you could drive more income into the business, or indeed take out more cost. So every May it was like, that's how it worked.
Yeah.
So we're on a bit of a wobble at the moment. I think we can all agree. We've lost 4 out of our 7 games in the league. What do you think has gone wrong for us recently?
I'm not sure there's that much gone wrong. I know that people, when you're used to winning each week. I listened to Dave Challoner, the Stockport manager's after match press conference yesterday, and he talked about you go from a lot of people, once you're winning and you're at the top of the league, he was talking not about Wrexham, he was talking about Stockport. You go from expectation and hope that you're going to win to actually some people then feeling entitled that you're going to win every week. And I thought it was a really interesting take from Dave Challoner. And I think, if you take a step back and take a macro look at the season rather than going into the last few games, I think, we're not in a bad spot. Of course, we've had a little bit of a wobble, but if you look at the games and watch the performances within those games, we've had one or two that were maybe subpar. But could we really say that Bradford came to the racecourse and deserved to win? I don't think so. I thought over the 90 minutes we were the better side and were a little bit unlucky. The MK Dons game, we should have won that game, really, in my estimation. We could have also lost that game as well. There was a few controversial moments, but I think over the 90 minutes we were the better side. And again, yesterday at Gillingham, I think really we were every bit as good as Gillingham. We played well first half. I think what has happened over the last sort of 4 to 7 games is that actually things haven't dropped for us quite the same in the box. We've not been quite as ruthless as we have been. So I think that's where the focus and the little tweaks need to come. But I've got no doubts that we will get back to that. After Tuesday's night's game away at Forest Green, Rovers were into the last 12 games of the season, 5 away, 7 at home. So it's a big game Tuesday. If we could get the 3 points on Tuesday and go back into the top 3, 12 to play, 7 at home, 5 away, nobody inside top 15 to play away from home, puts us in a good position.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I think, whenever a team have a wobble, I think sometimes you can go off the deep end a little bit. I think if these results were sort of spread throughout the season,
it wouldn't be so bad.
You'd sort of, it would be different. I think because they've been so sort of pushed into sort of one little period, I think everyone's sort of gone.
I read on Twitter this morning.
Yeah.
And it boils my blood, honestly, when I read things like this. It basically said, if we don't win on Tuesday and don't win on Saturday,
yeah,
Parky needs to get the sack. And I'm just like, really? It's just,
yeah.
I don't people always look at the bad rather than, what we have achieved, what Parky's achieved.
Yes.
It just really annoys me when people start saying things like that.
Just to talk about Paul Mullin a little bit. He's, he obviously had a really bad injury pre-season. I'm surprised he's played as many games as he has, and sort of full games as well with the injury that he did have earlier in the season. He's had a bit of a rest. We've had him on the bench a few times in the last few games. Has he had his rest now? Should we be getting him back into that starting 11? Do you think?
I actually think that that Parky's actually taken a really good approach to this point of the season, because we've had, because of our cup run, we've been forced into a period where we're playing Saturday, Tuesday, and we've had a number of injuries at the same time. So I think it's been actually quite a smart play to, in that period, to keep the energy high and to shuffle the pack and put people in and out. Now, that doesn't always help with continuity, but sometimes you have to take a bit of a gamble on actually being able to press in the way in which we could, because we had fresh legs at MK Dons. That might be better at a period where are we with 30? Are we 33 games now?
Yes. Yeah.
33 games plus your cup games plus, so we're probably on about 45 games in what is it? It's 6 or 7 months. It's a heck of a lot of football, right? So you want to go into the last 10 games as fresh as possible, and we need to come out of this Saturday, Tuesday, with with as fresh as possible squad. So, yes, a number of players have had a rest. Even the great Elliot Lee, who's the White Pele, who's had a fantastic season. I think that may bear some fruit in the last 10 games of the season. So I'm not overly worried. Paul himself, he's into double figures for the season. Let's hope he can finish the last 10 games with a flurry of goals and get up to that 15, 16-ish mark, which would represent a good season. And if he does, we're in for an exciting end.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about that, a hopefully exciting end. What's your prediction for our final sort of league position this season? If you had to hang your hat on one position that we're going to finish this season, what would it be?
So I normally only predict that it's going to go dark at the end of the day. That's my. I don't. I'm not a great one for predictions. But because predictions are, my guess is as good as anybody else, right? It's like pin the tail on the donkey. You don't really know. Injuries could happen. You get a bit of luck with refereeing decisions. Other clubs hit form. You play them at the right or the wrong time. I think we've played a lot of clubs when they've come into form actually at the wrong time this season. And I think Forest Green's another one on Tuesday night, unfortunately. So all of that can be variables. If you ask me though, if I was to look at try and base it on facts and come up with some fact-based, reasonable assumptions to justify a position. So where would I look? I would say we've got more home games than away games left to go. Our away games against teams in the bottom half of the table, many of whom have got nothing to play for. Our home games, where we've got home games, we've played a lot of the good teams, but there are a number of teams who are going to be challenging up there with us, who have yet to come to the racecourse where the 6-pointers, and we are good at home. And I think we average 3 goals a game at home. So when I add those two bits together, then that suggests to me we're going to get a reasonable points total between now and the end of the season. So rather than it being a prediction, trying to use those working assumptions, I'm going to say that takes us into second or third.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair.
I think that's fair, and I think that's really good for being back in the EFL for first time in 15 years.
I keep looking at it in a couple of different ways. I try to break it down and analyse each individual game. And then with the fact that we've got 7 home games left, I thought, well, if we were to win all of them, that's 21 points. And that pushes us right up there in the mix, without taking into account any of the away games. I don't think for 1 second we're not going to pick up any points in away games for the rest of the season. Equally, I don't think we're going to win all of our home games, but I just think if you try and look at how, like Spencer says, how good we are at home, barring the odd blip here and there, how good we are at home, I think the aim has got to be winning every one of them 7 games.
Yeah.
And if you achieve that, you're right there in the mix without even considering the away games for me. So I think that's got to be the aim, and maybe pick up some points away as well. That'd be quite nice.
That would be nice.
So my view is 7 wins and 3 draws will do it out the 12 games. I think we're going to need, I think this season, if I was to be Mystic Meg, I would say anything north of 81 points is likely to do it. So you've got 12 games left. You need 7 wins. We've got not 12, is it? We've got 13 games left. Sorry, yeah. 13 games left. So 7 wins, 3 draws, I think sees us home.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the likes of Crewe, Crewe and Stockport have got to play each. Mansfield and MK Dons have got to play each other twice. We've got to play. There's a lot of the teams are going to end up playing each other between now and the season, so they can all win.
No, definitely.
which is good.
Yes, yeah, that's good.
It's good,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
good,
yeah,
it's
it's good.
good.
Spencer, thank you so much for joining us. Are you okay to hang around for the quiz?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff, Spencer. We'll come back to you shortly.
So, should we talk about the MK Dons game?
Yes, let's talk about the MK Dons game. So, back three of Cleworth, O'Connell and Boyle.
Isn't Cleworth playing amazingly at the minute?
He is. So's O'Connell, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I would argue, we talked to Mark last week about do you put Tozer back in or do you leave O'Connell there? I think O'Connell's playing so well at the moment. I don't think it's a coincidence that maybe Ben can't get back in that starting 11 for me. I think he's playing superbly, as is Max as well, I would say. Bolton started in place of Barney. We had McLean in midfield, no Elliott Lee. Confused the hell out of me because I saw the starting lineup and I read it but didn't really pay much attention because as soon as I see McLean's name, I just go left wing back.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really twig. But then I'd read Mendy's name and I'd read Bolton's name. And my brain didn't put all of the information together.
There's only a left and a right.
And then I was just sort of like, and then when the game started, I thought, McLean's quite advanced. And then it's about 3 or 4 minutes in, it twigged in my head. I was going, oh, McLean's in midfield. How do you think he is in midfield?
I love him in any position. That sounds really bad.
That sounds terrible.
I didn't mean it like that. No, I do. I think he plays well in a lot of different positions.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you can word that without it sounding rude.
I don't think you can. No.
So yeah, I think he's superb. I love McLean.
Okay, so I think the question is left wing back.
Yeah.
McLean or Mendy?
I like Mendy.
Yeah.
I think he's a brilliant player, and he did play well on Tuesday. But I don't know, there's just something, I don't know whether it's the Irish in him or it's the experience. I just think he's just got that something else. And I just think he's...
So you would have him at left wing back instead of him at the centre is what, that's what I'm driving towards, really.
I don't know, maybe not, maybe midfield.
Would you?
I don't
know. I really like him on the left. So it's hard for me to answer that question. I haven't asked it because I want to make a point, which I do quite regularly with a lot of things. But
or make me look stupid.
No. I don't know. If I'm honest, I don't know where. I think I prefer him on the left. I don't know.
I know. I just think he's brilliant in any position. I'm not gonna say that again.
The question is about Luke Young. Back to Luke Young.
Yes.
250 appearances.
Yep.
Should he be getting more minutes?
Yes.
Or are there other people? I haven't finished the question. Should he be getting more minutes? Or are there people ahead of him in the pecking order at the moment?
In my opinion.
If everyone's fit.
In my opinion, yes. I don't know. I just think, like McLean, he brings something. He's been with Wrexham since 2018. He's made...
I thought you meant McLean for a minute. I was going, what?
No,
yeah, Luke Young. Yeah.
So, he's... For me, I feel like I think he deserves his place in the starting 11. And I do think...
Instead of who?
I don't know. I don't like making
You can't have them all in there. So would you take George Evans out? No, you wouldn't. I'm going to answer it for you. You can try and be as diplomatic as you want. You're not.
Okay, well, whilst George Evans is injured...
Yes, you would have him in there.
I would have him.
It's an awkward one, isn't it? Because you go, George Evans, you're not replacing him when he's fit. You're not. He's like the Rolls Royce of midfielders.
He can make mistakes, though.
Of course he can, as anyone can. But I think he's, in that midfield, you've got to have him. Elliott Lee. We all know what Elliott Lee does.
Oh, yeah.
And, you're not really taking him out. Oh, we did against MK Dons, but my point is long term.
Yeah.
So that only leaves one space. So that sort of last space is sort of being fought over by Luke Young, Andy Cannon, and James Jones. Now, so the question is, which one of them three fills that final spot? It's fine if you think it's Luke. That's then it's fine.
I would love to think it's Luke, but I'm not stupid, and I know how amazing Andy Cannon is in that position. He has. I said to you the other day when we were watching the MK Dons game.
Yes.
I said that Cannon is absolutely superb, and he's. You might not agree with me, but I think he is the player that, he had a bit of a blip at the end of the season in the National League.
Yeah.
And everyone was questioning, was he worth kind of signing up?
Yeah.
But I think now, 100% he was.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
yeah,
I need 3 hands for this because it's threefold.
I was going to say, how many hands are we using here?
So George, what's his face? Andy Cannon, amazing. Love him. James Jones.
Yeah.
Again, another workhorse. See, all 3 of these are workhorses, and they work.
I think
work that pitch.
Yeah.
From the moment the whistle goes, and whilst they're on the pitch, it might not be the full 90 minutes, but But for me, I just love Luke Young's work ethic. And if I had, I was trying to say work ethic, but it didn't come out. But if I had a gun to my head, and
which you don't.
I know I don't. I would love it to be Luke Young, but I think Andy Cannon is the
out
one.
Of the 3.
Yeah, as much as it pains me to say,
it doesn't. I think you're probably right. It doesn't pain me to say that. I mean,
you're heartless.
No, I'm not. But I think we're going to talk a little bit more about Luke a bit further on in the show. But when he came in on Tuesday, I thought he was excellent, and he showed everybody that it doesn't matter how long he's on the sidelines. He is going to come in and do a job whenever he is asked to.
Which is what you need.
That's what a captain is, though, isn't it? It's showing that you can leave me out for 5 months. It doesn't matter. When I come back, I will be on the ball and I'll be ready to go. And I thought he was excellent on Tuesday night, if I'm perfectly honest. But we'll come back to him in a minute. Again, we've come back to him once already. We're going to come back to him again. Dalby Marriott up front.
I like Marriott.
Do you?
Not sure I like him with Dalby. No, but then I wouldn't have him with Mullen because obviously there's no heights with those 2. They're both pretty much the same size.
Depends how you're going to play, though.
Well, yeah, but I think they've both got similar styles of play. So I do. I mean, I like Dalby is getting. Is it Dalby or Dalby?
Who cares?
Sam is getting a lot of bad press at the moment, and people are saying, get rid of him, he's no good, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I just think...
Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but you're wrong.
But you're wrong. No, I know, they may not necessarily be wrong, but I just think people, when we don't win a game, people always go for the easy targets, which are usually the strikers. They're not going to go for people like Paul Mullen.
Dalby has been poor recently, though.
Yeah, I get that, but so have a lot of other people.
Yeah, I know,
but because they're not strikers and they're not supposed to be scoring goals, it just annoys me. I think I'm too nice for this game.
I just Dalby's not on it at the moment for whatever reason. He's just not, and I don't. When I keep seeing his, I'll be honest. When I keep seeing his name on the team sheet, my brain sort of goes, why? Because especially when
Palmer's on the bench.
Yeah, and I think Palmer needs to. I don't know what's going on. And I'm not going to spend too long talking about it on this show because we've talked about it for weeks and weeks now. Where is he? Why isn't he playing? So maybe go back and listen to them previous episodes to hear us talking about that. But yeah, he did come on later in the game, Palmer. I think you just got to be. I don't know. I just want to see him starting again. Yeah. And
him and Mullen.
I think even if it's just to shut the crowd up a little bit, to sort of go, right, okay, you keep shouting that you want Palmer starting. There he is, he's starting. If he doesn't play very well, Parky can sort of, none of this is happening, but Parky sort of go,
Told you so.
That's why he's not playing, you know. But at the moment, I think sometimes we look back as football fans through rose-tinted glasses, and we just remember all the good stuff all he did. And then you sort of go, well, we want him back to do all that good stuff again. When maybe he's not quite to the level, or he's got a little bit of a niggle, or whatever it is. If he's got a little bit of a niggle in one of the muscles, whatever.
One of the muscles. That was very scientific of you.
You know what I mean? I just think we need to see it for ourselves.
Yeah.
To then go, okay, well, shut up now when you get on with doing what you're doing. You know, but Dalby, it just isn't working for me at the moment. It's just not.
If Dalby's not
shut
coming
me
in
up now.
first,
Yeah.
and Palmer's not there, then who'd you have?
Look, I've said this for a while. I think for me, I would like to see Mullin and Palmer starting up front again.
Yeah.
You know, they
Like
had
the good old days.
Yeah, they had a great understanding. I dare say that understanding is still there. They scored lots of goals when they played together. I would like to see that pairing up front to start a game. Be that Forest Green, be that on Saturday against Accrington, whatever it is, that's what I'd like to see. And I would be the first. If it doesn't work for whatever reason, if Palmer's off it, Mullins, I would be the first to hold my hands up and go, right, I've seen it now.
Now I know why.
And I understand why we're rotating around and this isn't happening. Mullin and Palmer up front, Fletcher to come off the bench, maybe Marriott a little bit later than that, just when Paul's he's run his legs off for the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Fletcher coming off the bench is a nightmare for defenders in the last half an hour. And I think as well, Marriott's got a bit of speed about him, you know, and he runs the channels really well. I think that could be a nightmare for defenders in the last sort of 15, 20 minutes. So that's for me what I'd like to see. Might not be what everyone wants to see, but it's horses for courses, isn't it? Everyone wants to see something different. Anyway, we're supposed to be talking about MK Dons.
I thought we were.
But look, it was a very positive start.
It was.
I was surprised. I was expecting a tough game. I thought MK Dons looked poor. I thought they were poor at the back. I thought they kept giving the ball away. You know, we had a couple of sort of half chances. We were very much on the front foot. And then we went 1-0 up. Young's corner, nodded in by McLean.
It was a weird header that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't even realise it had gone in at first.
How he got that, the angle that he got that into the net,
I know.
it was like
It's sort of like
mental.
it was one of them glance. He just wanted to glance it that way, and it
He used his like vision,
Yeah.
and it just went around
Yeah.
the corner. It
So
was
you
a
know,
good
look,
header.
it was a deserved lead. I feel as well, but the lead only lasted 5 minutes,
Yeah, because
didn't it?
Ryan jinxed it by saying that MK Dons. No, what did you say? We need to put this to bed now.
Right. Anyone listens to the Two Beards podcast? they nominated me as Numpty of the Week this week. We love the guys, by the way. It's a little bit tongue in cheek, and it's just a bit of a joke. But the reason for that is we're in a group chat together, and I put in the group chat that, look, all the pressure that we're having here, one isn't enough. I said, we need to be putting these away now. There's times when we've been 2-3 up playing this well against teams, and I said, and literally, all right, 20 seconds later, they equalised, okay? So I might have slightly jinxed it, but I wasn't wrong, was I? You know, what I said was right.
Yeah.
You know, you could just, from years of watching football, you just see it all the time. A team is pressing, they're on the front foot. They should be 2, maybe 3 up. And then they just go and concede. And then they lose a little bit of their mojo.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they're sort of clambering to get back into the game. And if I'm honest, I thought Arthur maybe should have stopped it.
Was that the one where he kind of was on the floor, like he wasn't sure where to
He
go?
went into like a crouch position, ready to dive one way or the other, probably across him, but it went over him. I mean, he's 6'15" or whatever he is. I mean, if he'd just stood up a little taller, he probably would have just caught it, but it went over him, and I'm not a goalkeeper, so I'm not going to start knocking him too much. But it just felt like it was, when I watched the replays back, I felt like it was one he could have stopped. But he didn't. But then they really came back into the game after that. And you could argue they had the better chances for the rest of the half. Arthur made 2 really good saves after that, both down to his left, one down to his left. And the other one, the guy hit it from about 30 yards and then Arthur tipped it onto the post.
Didn't he just like, with his hand, he just like tipped,
Just caught it,
Yeah.
It was really good save,
Yeah.
excellent. But 1-1 at half time, just felt a bit deflated because I thought we were better than just drawing at half time, if I'm perfectly honest. But yeah, maybe, but on the balance of it, we had the best of the first 20 minutes.
Yep.
They probably had the best of the second 20 minutes.
Yep.
So on balance, you could probably go,
1-1.
all right, 1-1. I'll take that. Marriott had a 1-on-1, didn't he, in the second half? Went straight at the keeper. And then we had...
Goalgate.
Is it in? Oh, yeah, it's definitely in. Oh, no, wait, it's not in. Oh, is it? Let's see the replay. Oh, that looks in to me. Oh, but he doesn't give it. What did you make of it?
From the angle that we saw, it looked like it did go in.
Yes.
But I think what happened was, is it in just Premier League or in...
Goal line technology.
No, do they have a watch on and it tells
Goal
them...
line technology.
Do we have that?
No.
Okay, so if it was a Premier League game, he would have known...
his watch 100%. Would have buzzed.
But obviously we don't have that in League Two. So I think it was a decision that the ref must have made.
Linesman.
Was it the linesman, was it?
It would have been, yeah.
So the linesman obviously couldn't tell, so he made a decision for it to be disallowed. What are you laughing at?
Because I'm just laughing at the situation because
we would have gone mad if it was us, though, wouldn't we?
We would have gone mental, and I can understand
there would have been a pitch invasion and
everything. Because of the angle, looked in. Just looked in.
But sort of Okonkwo, when he had hold of the ball, I think he slid it. I don't think it had gone quite over the line at that point.
No, but then he
sort of slid it. He sort of like slid it in with his hand. It's very controversial. And to all you MK Dons fans, if that had happened to us, we would have reacted in exactly the same way you guys did. It's really awkward. But I'm glad it got disallowed because you would have won 2-1.
It wasn't disallowed; it just wasn't given.
Disallowed.
I think the one thing I thought it was in. Instantly, I thought it was in, and I was wondering why we were playing on because I thought that's definitely in. I saw the replay. I still thought it was in, and then I've subsequently seen a different angle. A different replay, and I think it's in as well on that one. But I think one really important point is the angle of the camera, and to try and play devil's advocate a little bit and to understand why something like that wouldn't be given. The best thing that I saw was Gary Neville did a thing on Sky Sports of whether the ball has crossed the line or not. So basically, he put the ball down, and then the camera took a photo from the angle, pretty much quite similar to the camera angle in the MK Dons game.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at that angle, the ball, you would look at it, and 100 times out of 100, people would say that is over the line. Simple as, because there's a clear gap. You can see the other side of the line. There's no way that isn't over the line from that angle. He then moves the camera and takes a photo above the ball, and there's about that much on the line, and which means it isn't over the line.
Yeah, so it's not in.
So when I saw that created an understanding for me of why perhaps it looks really in, but from the right angle, it's not. The only person who really knows is Arthur. No, it's not Arthur. Arthur didn't have a clue. Is the linesman. He is the only person who knows looking across, because as he looks across, if he can't see literally a centimetre of that ball because it's behind the post, then it's not a goal.
No.
It's as simple as that, but only he knows that. And this is the thing that frustrates me. about referees and linesmen. You know, the media, and we all push to hear off managers after games and players after games and why did this happen? Why did that happen? But we never have interviews with referees and linesmen and after games when they've made difficult decisions.
Or stupid decisions.
Sometimes the difficult decisions are the right ones, and that might not have gone in. They might have made a mistake and it had gone in. But I just want to hear off the ref sometimes, or some officials somewhere who just can go, look, the lines. If the ref or the linesman had come on and done an interview after and gone, look, I was looking right down the line. There was literally about 3 centimetres of that ball which hadn't crossed the line, which means it's not a goal. I mean, that would have just killed everything dead right there. Why did you not give that? Why did you give another decision? You know, for me, I just think we're missing that in the game.
They're just obviously not media trained, are they? So
they're just not going to do it because they don't want to expose themselves to mistakes.
I was joking about being media trained.
You are. Look, one person that was absolutely fuming about the decision was Lewington, who then went and got sent off straight after. We didn't even realise he'd been sent off, to be honest. Was he lucky to still be on the pitch though?
100%.
After he stamped on Andy Cannon.
I don't understand how that wasn't even a red card for him at that point. He clearly, Cannon went. Obviously they were running together.
Yeah.
Then Cannon went down.
Yeah.
And then Lewington, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He sort of. Not stopped, but he had plenty of time. He had at least 2 steps to sort of like get himself back up on his feet.
Yeah.
But he decided that he was going to use one of those steps and stand on Andy Cannon.
Yeah.
He could have done Andy Cannon He could have done. It could have been another bloody Paul Mullen situation.
I mean, I think one thing to clear up: it wasn't a stamp.
Yes, it was.
It was a step. He stood on him. I don't think that changes what the ref should have done, but I think the way some people have put it across is he stood over him and stamped on him, which he hasn't done that.
That's what it looked like.
He's run and he's stepped on him, hasn't he? So I don't think there was still potential for injury from that.
Yeah.
I think it was probably still a red card.
But Andy Cannon's a lion, and so he just like shoved it off.
You know, Andy Cannon, as much as he sort of grabbed himself in pain, I don't think he was in a lot of pain from that, to be honest. But it's still a red card for me. I think, you know, you've jumped. That could have been avoided, and he chose not to avoid that. He chose to carry on and stand on him, which for me was a red card. But he got his comeuppance in the end, didn't he? And he got sent off. Talking of red cards, anyway. So Will Boyle got another one. Loves them.
Loves them. I think he's got them like up on his wall or something. He's collecting them.
Yeah, maybe. Now, where do we start? So his yellow card in the first half, I felt was a little bit soft. I thought the ref was a bit harsh with it because I think there was lots of opportunities to book players in the first half. McLean was one. Slid in, caught somebody quite late. No yellow card for that. And then Boyle got one for leaning on somebody a little bit. Look, if you just take that as an isolated incident, probably, maybe a yellow card, maybe. But in the context of the game and what had gone before, I don't think so.
No.
You know, because he'd let worse than that go without booking them, so to then book him for that, I thought was a little harsh. On to the actual incident itself. I just thought he was a bit stupid. I'm going to say it. A lot of people have come out and gone, what else could he have done? Look, for me, he's out wide. I would watch the replay of it again. He is not, when he knocks it past Boyle, he's not going in on goal. He's going pretty much in line with the box. He's still quite wide there. O'Connell is on the cover as well. He is coming round. He's a little bit behind, but he's on the cover. And Boyle just swung a leg out. I don't believe for 1 second that he has taken one for the team. I just think he's misjudged it. He sort of loses it and he's just swung a leg out. Did the lad dive? maybe. But, you know, if
So you're going to say, did the lad die then?
if it did he dive, maybe. But if it was the other way around, we'd want the same
There was
thing.
quite a lot of diving from MK Dons players.
I just think he did the wrong thing, though. If you're going to swing a leg out at a striker, let's look at our own strikers. How likely are they to go down in that situation? I would say
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, so we can't be surprised when opposition strikers do the exact same thing to us. For me, because of how wide he was, as a defender, you're always taught, show him the outside and lean on him. And, you know, I'm not saying, you know, if he'd put it out wide, use your strength to hold him off that ball. I just think he'd lost his balance a little bit. And to swing a leg out like that, whether he touched him, not, it's all about perception in that situation and in that moment. And for me, as soon as he did it, it was like, just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous challenge to make. You know, you've played in the Championship. You know how to defend. And for me, it was a stupid tackle to make, and he deserves to get sent off for it. Knowing he was already, knowing that he was already on a yellow card, for me, it was stupid.
Yeah,
I felt O'Connell was there on the cover. And you know, and I just felt he could have lent on him, and he could have slowed him down enough that there was still a defender behind him to actually clean that situation up. But he didn't, and he's off, and then it was 10 versus 10.
Because this is his second yellow in his second red in a certain amount of time. Does that mean he has to be out for more games?
Yeah. So it's a 1-game ban. For 2 yellows.
Yeah.
Because he's already had a red, he should get an extra game on top. So it should be 2, but we'll wait and see. No official word on that. We had 2 penalty shouts after that.
I think that's where all the commotion was happening around when our goal, I think it was. I'm sure that's when Lewington got his red card.
It was straight after the Arthur thing. We've already talked about that, babe. We've moved on from that. It was straight after the Arthur incident.
Oh, because he had to go at the ref. What do they call it? Dissent?
Dissent.
Why do they call it dissent?
That's what it's called, dissent.
But, okay. Anyway, 2 penalty shouts.
2 penalty shouts. So, you threw me off then.
Sorry.
By going backwards. I felt like I'd gone back in time for a second then. Threw me off completely. Yeah, so Mullin had a shot. Player went down. Mullin felt it hit their arm, and so the keeper made a bit of a save, went out for a corner. I've watched it back. It's not a penalty in a million years, that isn't. But one that I think probably was the sort of there was a bit of pulling in the box. So Barney went past his man, crossed it into the middle, and Palmer was in there because he'd come on at this point, and he was sort of wrestling with the defender a bit. They were both pulling each other.
Yeah.
But then Palmer went for the ball, and the guy sort of manoeuvred him round. And for me, as a defender, there's always going to be shirt pulling between strikers and
but not
defenders.
Like grabbing round the waist.
I just felt it was a bit excessive from the defender, and I thought he was very lucky to get away with that. The other thing for me that went against the defender was the defender
fell over.
No, wasn't even facing the ball. He was facing the man. And he manoeuvred him and wrestled him out of it. Don't get me wrong, Palmer was all over him as well. But I just felt maybe if there was going to be a penalty out of the 2 of them, I felt maybe that was the one that we were going to get. But MK Dons nearly won it right at the end, didn't they? So they had a literally right at the end. Arthur made a good save. They probably should have won it. I'd have been fuming if we'd have come out of there with nothing. Point gained or 2 points dropped?
I think now, obviously, the game's been and gone, and I just think a point is better than coming away with no points. I mean, it would be fantastic to come away with 3 points, but we still came away with something. And the game that happened on Tuesday, like we mentioned, I can't remember where we mentioned it, it might have been on here. But our form has kind of improved. Oh no, it was we were doing a post or something on Twitter. You basically said that our away form has improved. You know, even though the goals weren't there. Or was that for the Gillingham game?
Could you get your point out? Because I
don't-
don't think people really want to be listening to you having some sort of meltdown of memory.
I think a point's a point at the end of the day. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. I do think there were periods in that game where I feel it was 2 points dropped. I definitely think they were there for the taking. I definitely
maybe.
think they were there for the taking, especially that first 20 minutes. I think we should have kept our foot on their neck, as it were, because I think we had them at that point, and I think we had them under pressure. And I think that their goal just knocked us, and I don't think we completely recovered from them scoring. And with our poor away form, maybe the lads were sort of looking at it going, oh God, it's happening again. We're going to come out of this with nothing. If you'd have offered me a draw before the game started, I probably would have taken it. But
Because of the way they played.
because of the way they played, I felt like they deserved the 3.
Yeah.
So it sort of felt like...
Then that's the sort of thing that you want. Yes, we only came away with a point, but we know that they played well and, better than they have played in previous away games. So, you have to take things positively.
Yeah. Other important games on Tuesday. So Stockport drew 0-0 with Gillingham. Stockport are not having the best of times at the moment either.
Yeah.
And to talk of Gillingham, we'll move on to the Gillingham game now.
Beautiful segue.
Beautiful.
Segue.
So,
Sedgeway.
Sedgeway, I think you said.
What's wrong with me today?
I don't either. So we had McLean in midfield again.
Yeah.
Lee came back.
Yeah.
This is where I wanted to come back to Luke Young again. So Luke Young lost his place.
Very angry.
I was so surprised though.
I was. I said, I don't know who it was to, but I said it to somebody that after his Tuesday performance at MK Dons, I definitely think that Luke Young will be in the starting 11. And then when his name wasn't there, I was like,
yeah, but then
what's going on?
we're backed because Elliot Lee came back in.
Yeah.
Then it was, if you sort of look at it as that our midfield against MK Dons was Cannon, McLean, and Luke Young.
Yeah.
So Luke Young had pretty much taken Elliot Lee's place, when they swapped it over. So by bringing Lee back in, that's when Young dropped out.
Yeah.
But there was an argument for maybe then putting Cannon on the bench and then putting Young in that position, in the more holding position, which he has played for us before. I just felt the momentum was with Luke a little bit, and I thought he had a fantastic game against MK Dons. And I think it was maybe an opportunity missed to get more minutes because he played well, and he's always going to put the effort in. So I was quite surprised that he didn't play, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah, I think because maybe he hasn't played for a while, he might not have, like you said, he might not have
match
two
fitness.
full 90 minutes in him.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop him from coming on as a sub,
Which he did.
But I think he should have been in the starting 11.
I think so. The only thing I could think of was maybe lacking a little bit of match fitness.
Maybe.
Because he hasn't played that much.
That's because he's not getting enough minutes on the pitch.
Well, let's not go back round in a circle about that one. So Tunnicliffe came in for Boyle. It's good to see him back.
Bosch,
Barnett back on the right. Fletcher and Marriott up front.
I love Fletcher. He's just amazing.
Yeah, it was an excellent start of the game.
It was.
High energy.
It was.
And we looked really good, creating chances. What I made a note here, you felt that maybe we were shooting when there was a decent pass on, but then we were passing it when maybe there was a shot to be had there.
No, that wasn't my comment. That was Parky's comment in the interview.
Oh, I thought that's what you were trying to put across to me.
No, I said in an interview. Parky had an interview after the Gillingham game.
Yes,
and he said those things.
Oh.
That he said that he felt that they were shooting when they should be passing and passing when they should be shooting.
Yeah. But I thought that's what you said during the game.
Did I?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did.
Oh,
yeah.
did I?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Then me and Parky, we're in sync.
That's why I wrote it down, because I'm pretty sure that's what you said. Because there was a few instances where, like, Barnett had a couple of shots, and you go, there was a pass there to open that up. And then there was another one where McLean could have put it onto his left and had a shot, and instead he played it out wide to Barney. And it's sort of what you said. You said they sort of... they're passing when
They should
maybe
be
they should be
shooting.
shooting, and they're shooting when there is another pass there
I've got
to be
a
had.
confession to make.
Yeah.
I'm the one who writes Parky's answers for his interview. So yeah, tried to give him credit there for that, but that was all me.
Yeah, we had Mendy who had a bit of a cross shot thing that was well saved by the keeper. I thought it was drifting in.
I would have loved that to have gone in. It was such a good shot.
But we got to the end of another half of league football with no shots on target. And for me...
Seems to be becoming a bit of a habit, isn't it?
You're not going to win games if you don't have any shots on target, are you? You know, you might scrape a draw with no shots on target, but you're certainly not winning games. Look, we had a few in the second half, but just not enough.
What I meant was by that, obviously, I know that we have to shoot on target to get goals. I get that. But what I'm saying is it's getting a bit of a habit where they're having shots on target, but they're not translating into goals, is what I meant by that.
Yeah, I mean, one stat to throw out there is in 7 of our last 8 games, we have scored either 0 or 1. I mean, that to me, I'm not like falling off my chair worried about that, but it maybe just a slight concern in the back of my mind, you know, knowing that we've scored 2, 3, 4, 5 goals in games and we've really sort of put the pressure on teams and you know, to be scoring either 0 or 1 in such a long stretch of games, it's sort of like we've lost our shooting boots a little bit and we can't seem to get shots on target and we're maybe not creating enough clear-cut opportunities, which I'm not sure how well that bodes for the rest of the season, but I am starting to see an improvement.
Yeah. But is it too late in the season?
No, stop putting words in my mouth which are nothing to do with what I'm about to say. But it's to play. I don't want to be a team that plays really well and gets nothing out of a game, because I think that is more frustrating.
Yeah.
Than, you know, I don't want to just be falling back on going, oh, we lost again.
But we played really well.
But we played well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a mum telling her son, you didn't win the race, but it's the taking part that counts. Any kids that are listening, absolutely not. That is not the case.
Yes, Ryan does not tell our child that. He says, you didn't win, you're rubbish.
No, I don't say that.
No, he doesn't.
The point is, you go into a competition to win it, don't you? Not to have fun.
No.
Put the fun to one side, get the job done. Put the fun to one side and get the job done. I like that. Anyway, Gillingham went. Well, I don't want to dwell too much on this because it depressed me a little bit.
It is depressing talking about games that we've lost, isn't it? But
Gillingham,
we have to take the good with the bad.
I think it was quite a poorly defended set piece. We got bullied a little bit. Someone got blocked off. I can't remember who it was. The guy just run around the back.
Dieng, is it?
Dieng,
that's it.
Yeah,
He's the one who scored the goal, wasn't he?
Yeah, it went. A guy peeled off around the back, completely unmarked because obviously someone got blocked off. Ball went across the box. It was quite hard to see, but yeah, Dieng put it in.
Marriott, I think it was.
What?
I think it was Marriott that he was the.
Was it?
I don't know.
Come here. Come on. Get your head on my shoulder. You're having a bad day.
I am having a bad day, and I don't know
why.
But shut up.
But you're having a bad day, all right?
Just shut up.
We'll sweep that under the carpet.
I'm going to fall off my chair in a minute.
We're talking, then you just sort of go, Marriott. Who's Marriott? What?
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
I don't. No, do you know the worst thing is? No, it's not. It's just to give you some comfort. You don't know what you're talking about.
You don't either.
Neither does anybody else who's listening either. So look.
I'm naturally blonde, so you know.
That is quite insulting to blonde. So I won't. I think you should take that back.
I do take that back. But it's true.
Have you, in the same way as me, lost that belief? If you go back 3-4 months and we were losing games or we were drawing games, I always had that belief in a game that we will score. we will get back into this
In
game.
the 95th minute.
Whenever, but I always had that belief, and so did, when you're at the racecourse, especially, everyone in there was like, don't worry about it, we will score. I feel like I've lost that a little bit at the moment. I feel like I'm watching games, and I feel like I've swung completely the other way.
Yeah, well, you said it.
Even with, I did.
You did.
You're not wrong. With the Gillingham game, it was like, we're not going to score.
We could play for another 90 minutes and we're not going to get nothing, is what you said.
That is what I said, yes. But I don't know where that's come from, because that's just come out of the blue for me. I felt it against MK Dons as well.
Yeah.
When it was 1-1 and we were in the second half and we were pushing and we did that, I just didn't have that belief that we were going to score. So I think I've lost that a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because we're scoring so few goals in the games we've been playing. I don't know.
Yeah.
The only team that we've scored more than one goal against in the last 8 games are the team who are bottom. So it's not as if we've scored 2 against
Stockport.
Someone really good, and it's something that you feel like you can build on.
Yeah.
It is literally the worst team in the league that we have managed to scrape 2 goals against. That's
depressing.
It is a little bit, isn't it?
Depressing. But other results from the weekend.
Yeah.
So Stockport drew 0-0 at home to Swindon. Mansfield won 5-1 at home to I keep wanting to say Salford. Crewe won 3-1 away to Notts County, and MK Dons won 3-0 home to Newport.
They did. We're 4th in the league. We're 4 points behind Mansfield. We played the same amount of games as Mansfield now. We're 4 behind Stockport in second with a game in hand. 2 behind Crewe with 2 games in hand. 1 ahead of MK Dons with a game in hand, and 6 ahead of Barrow with a game in hand.
Tuesday's game's one of the games that's a game in hand, isn't it?
It is, yes. Yeah. So on Tuesday, I'll come on to that in a minute. We'll say that. One thing I wanted to touch on quite quickly, I do realise this podcast is a little bit longer than a normal one.
I don't even know how long we've been doing it for.
No, I don't know. We record it in a strange order, so sometimes I don't even know if it is quite long, but it is quite long. Let's just not to ruin it for you. It is. Chris asked on. We were doing our full-time live on YouTube, which we do for games. Just a quick one on that. There isn't one of a half-time and a full-time one on Tuesday because I'm working. But Chris asked me a question.
I am trying to get him to do another job. But
Chris asked the question: what is a measure of success for Wrexham this season? So what would we consider success to be? I think that's quite a fluid question.
Can I answer?
For Chris, yes, you can.
At the beginning of the season, I would have said staying in in League Two.
That's all your ambition was?
No, shut up. I thought that would have been that. It took us 15 years to come out of the National League and into the EFL again. So if we managed to stay quite high in the table, but if we didn't promote, it wouldn't have been underworld.
Okay.
But now that we've had the success that we've had, and we've been second or third, even fourth, I kind of want that promotion now. I want us to be either first, second or third. I don't think we're going to be first.
That's what I mean by it being quite fluid. Because if you'd have asked at the start of the season, quarter of the way through the season, halfway through the season, and then now, I dare say success might have been measured in a slightly different way at each point. At the moment, I think we've still got it in us for top 3. But if we were to make the playoffs, I think that is still a successful season for me. Anything less than that, I think we've missed an opportunity, and I'm not sure we could consider that as success. But anything playoffs up, I think would be a successful season. For me, though, I would really like top 3, I think.
Yeah. So David Williams 7220 on YouTube. Again, this was on our full-time review on YouTube, but at the end of the Gillingham game. Agree with most of what you say, but where are our strike force? Anyone who watches the team regularly and it was stated in January, a proven striker would have won this league. We wasted time and bought 2 last-minute signings who have had little to no effect upon the team. Now our normal strikers are injured, cannot play 90 minutes or just off colour. We are reaping what we sow.
Maybe so. 2 games coming up this week. So we've got Forest Green. It's a League 2 match. It's away at the New Lawn on Tuesday, the 27th of February at 7:45. It's 142 miles away. It's about 2.5 hours, and it's available. This game is available for everybody on iFollow. We've not played them this season, as this game was postponed on the 9th of December. They won 1-0 at home to Tranmere on Saturday. I think they're actually starting to hit a little bit of form, to be honest. Last 5, they've won 2, lost 2 and drawn 1. The season as a whole, they've won 6, drawn 8 and lost 19. They're currently 23rd on 26 points. The highest placed team to play on Tuesday, other than us, is Walsall, who are 9th. So we are the only team in the top 8 to play on Tuesday night. So it's a good opportunity for us to pick up some points and push us on there. Their top scorer is Matthew Stevens, who's got 9. So a prediction for this one.
2-1.
I'm not going to mess about here. I'm just going 1-0. I'll just take 1-0. Just give me anything. Just give me something to hold on to.
Okie doke. So our next game is on Saturday, the 2nd of March. Sorry, we're still on Forest Green, are we?
No, we're not. No.
Oh my goodness. Right, yeah. So Accrington Stanley, a week on Saturday, the 2nd of March. Oh my God.
She'll be better next week.
I will be. So yeah, it's a League 2 match game. It's at home at Stoke Kairas. What did I say?
A League 2 match game. It's a League 2 match game.
Oh my God. Right, yeah, it's Saturday the 2nd of March at 3 o'clock. It's available for international fans only on iFollow because it's a 3 o'clock game and we've got the media blackout. The last game was the 2-0 loss in November. We won't talk about that. Accrington Stanley lost 1-0 at home to Crawley. They lost 1-0 at home to Crawley on Saturday. The last 5 games, they've won 1, drawn 2 and lost 2. This season, they've won 13, drawn 7 and lost 13. They're 14th on 46 points. So they're only 5 points off the playoffs at the moment.
Yeah, it's really tight, you know. If you have a look at League 2 and everything from sort of like 7th, 8th down, I think... I can't quantify this as 100% fact, but I'm pretty sure that Walsall jumped up 6 places this weekend by winning 1 game. That's how tight it is down there. So
has it ever been like this in this sort
probably, but I'm not sure. But the knock-on effect of that for us is that there's a lot of teams still playing for something.
Yeah,
like Accrington. Yeah, okay, they're 14th in the league, and you'd sort of go coming towards the end of the season. You'd sort of go, they're not going down, but they're probably not going up. But even in 14th, they were only 5 points off the playoffs. So there's plenty for them to play for. And, it's the same for a lot of clubs, I think. Top scorer is Jack Nolan on 11. So prediction.
3-0.
I'm not messing about with this one either. 1-0. 1-0.
You're only going 1-0 because you're more likely to get a prediction correct, aren't you?
At some point during the game, I'm hoping it'll be right. Yes.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah. Maybe not the end of the game, but at some point it will be. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And just a quick shout out for Dragon Chat. It's a mental health peer support group. They run a weekly Zoom call. 2 of them actually. Monday at 8 p.m. is for the women, and Thursday at 7 p.m. is for the men. The best thing to do is follow Dragon Chat-Steve Lloyd on Twitter to get all the information. Alternatively, if you want to go on one of them calls, all of the information for them calls is down in the description if you're watching us on YouTube.
If you want to get in touch, you can get in touch on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, or email us on methewifeandwrexhamafc@gmail.com. I had to look at you then, otherwise I would have got it wrong.
Yes. So now it is quiz time.
Oh, I had a week off last week.
You did have a week off, and now we're coming back to it now. Yeah. So Spencer, you still there?
I am.
Good stuff. Right, we're going back to a previous format for the quiz. It is 2 lies and 1 truth.
Okay.
There are 5 sections. In each section, I will read out 3 statements. 1 of them is true and 2 of them are lies. All you two guys have to do is pick out the truth.
Okay.
What is the truth in the statement that I'm reading out? Okay. I go to Sian first, so that she can't steal Spencer's answers, and then I'll go to Spencer for an answer. If you, as always, if you are 100% about an answer, don't claim you are 100% because that sort of gives the answer away for the next, for Spencer, doesn't it?
I do that.
You do that a little bit
I'm
sometimes.
sorry, yeah.
Okay, question 1.
Okay.
Will Boyle was sent off on Tuesday night, as we all know. The last Wrexham player to be sent off was Will Boyle before that incident. But the last Wrexham player to be sent off other than Will Boyle was James Jones. The last Wrexham player to be sent off was George Evans. Or the last Wrexham player to be sent off was Andy Cannon.
I'm going to say George Evans.
George Evans, remember that one? We were there, weren't we? Spencer?
Yeah, I'm going with Gorgeous George as well.
Gorgeous George for both of you. You're both wrong. It was James Jones on Boxing Day at Swindon.
When did
Just before Christmas, wasn't it? Because he was going to miss the Christmas games, wasn't he?
Oh, and we would say it. Yeah, we did that on purpose so we could have Christmas off. Yeah.
There we go. Right, number 2. On Saturday against Gillingham, we received 1 yellow card. On Saturday against Gillingham, we made 2 subs. Or on Saturday against Gillingham, we had 3 shots on target.
I'm going to go with C.
3 shots on target?
No, I'm going to go with A.
You're going to go with 1 yellow card?
Yeah.
Okay, and Spencer?
I don't recall us getting a yellow card, so I can't remember. So and we definitely made more substitutes. So I'm going to go with the 3 shots on target.
3 shots on target. One of you are right this time. It's Spencer who is correct. It was 3 shots on target.
Oh, why did I change my mind?
I don't know.
I'm sure we had a yellow card. I'm sure
we did. We had 2.
We just had 1.
We didn't have 1. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Right, number 3. On Tuesday night, we play Forest Green Rovers. The last time we played at the New Lawn was in 2017. We lost that game 2-0. We lost that game 3-0. We lost that game 4-0.
I'm going to say 4-0.
4-0?
Yeah.
Spencer?
I'm going 2.
2? Well,
Spencer's right.
No, it's the middle one. It's 3. So no points for either of you for that one.
For God's sake.
Number 4.
Yeah.
We're also due to play Accrington this week. The last time we played Accrington, we lost 2-0 away from home. Number 1. That was the last time Anthony Ford played for us. Number 2. That was the last time Paul Mullin missed a penalty. Or number 3, that was the last time Jake Bickerstaff played for us.
I'm going to go with the Anthony Ford. No, I'm not. I'm going to go with B, Paul Mullin.
Paul Mullin?
Yeah.
Spencer?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Paul Mullin's.
Yes, you are both correct. Yeah. Well done.
I got 1 point at least.
Yes, you do. Last one. Luke Young made his 250th appearance for the club last week. Number 1, Luke's debut was against Notts County in 2018. Number 2, Luke scored on his debut for Wrexham. Or number 3, Luke's first goal for the club ended up being goal of the season.
Oh, well, you know how much I love Luke Young, so I'm going to go with goal of the season.
Goal of the season?
Yeah, why not?
Spencer?
I'm going with he scored on his debut.
He scored on his debut. Sian, you are correct. His first goal for the club ended up being goal of the season. It was that scorcher that he scored against Dagenham. Don't know why I'm telling you. You didn't used to go to the games back then. But
what was the score then? I got 2.
It was a draw.
Oh.
So it is a draw. So I have a tiebreaker.
Wow, you never have a tiebreaker.
I never do. I just had a feeling today. So this isn't 2 lies, 1 truth. I just need a number from the both of you.
Oh,
and the
crikey.
closest
Okay.
wins, okay?
Okay.
Sian, I'll come to you first. What percentage of Wrexham's league goals this season have been scored by Paul Mullin? So I need a percentage from you.
30%.
30%. Spencer?
I'm going 13%.
13. Okay. Someone's clearly won. Okay. Do you think it's you?
No.
No, you're right. It's not. It's Spencer. Well done, Spencer. It was 17% of our league goals have been scored by Paul Mullin this season. Lucky I did that, innit? Last minute, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do a tiebreaker.
Depends how you look at it.
Yeah, yeah, it does depend. You could have been walking away with 1 point from this.
Yeah, but
As it turned out, you got nothing.
Yeah. Well done, Spencer.
Yes,
Sorry,
well done,
Sian.
Spencer. Thank you so much for joining us, Spencer. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. It's been brilliant.
You're welcome.
And thank you to you lot for joining us again this week, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye.